Hi, everyone, and welcome back to The Dayna Show. I'm your host, Dayna Kaplan. Each week, I have the unique opportunity to sit down with people who are making a huge impact, both in the Jewish world, both in Israel and outside of Israel. Today is no different. I had in the studio today Rami Even-Esh, Kosha Dillz himself, Jewish rapper, super interesting person. We talk a lot about his work, his history and background, his drug abuse, what's going on now in Chutz La'aretz, in the diaspora, in terms of anti-Semitism and work on campuses. Lots of different things, lots of different layers, and lots of different subjects to unravel. Please like, subscribe, and follow my channel. Am Yisrael Chai. Let's get into it. So, Kosha.
Rami.
Oh,
wait, you said Remy. Does that mean you're from Canada originally?
I'm Canadian.
I knew it.
Is that a problem?
No, I just know that Canadians can't say Rami. They say Remy. They have this Canadian thing.
They have this Canadian thing.
I'm no shade. Which part of Canada?
Toronto. But I've been here for
Montreal better. I love it more.
Really? Well,
but I have more followers. I feel like in Toronto. Shout out to Toronto. But
why? Because of Drake?
No, I don't know. I've found maybe people just appreciate me more there. In Montreal, they're like Quebecois. We don't care. We are from Montreal. We are better looking. Things like that.
Yeah, they kind of feel like they're a little bit more
upper echelon.
Yes, something. It's the French.
It's that French influence.
Do you live here now?
I mean, I live on Earth. It's been. Yeah.
Do you live in Israel, or do you spend your time half and half?
No, I do not spend my time half and half. But I feel like let's just discuss that.
Okay.
The people that are like, I want to do a 2-state solution. I want to live in Israel and Toronto or Israel and New York.
That's a 2-state solution.
I mean, it is pretty much for me. The idea that there are multiple kinds of people that come to Israel, and
for different reasons
too. And you got the people that are like, oh, I'm here for a short trip. It's just a week. Okay, great. Boom, boom, you're out. Then you have other people like myself. I'm here for a month, I'm here for a month right now, which is really exciting. Then you have the other people that are like, I just got a one-way ticket. I just going, I'm really exploring the idea. And they're these one-way ticket people. You ever meet the one-way ticket people?
Yes.
I just got
many times.
I don't know when it's all up in the air. It's crazy. Everything's crazy. They're always using crazy to describe everything. And then there are people that are like, it's crazy. I'm doing Aliyah. I just came here. I just came here and I never went back. And then there's other people that say, I'm making a conscious decision to live in Israel. Okay. And that's what you did.
Yeah.
And I know one of each of those people because some people run away from certain things. And I lived in Israel before Corona.
Uh-huh. Oh, you were.
Then when Corona happened, I was like, let's get the hell out of here. Beeline down. Well, I was going on tour and I just never came back. But I kind of felt I was never going to come back. Does that make sense? It was like, oh, it's the end of the world. I'll just stay here. It's easier. I didn't have to come back on a flight.
But what was so bad about being in Israel during Corona as opposed to being in the United States, especially New York?
Let me tell you what was great about being in America as a rapper and an artist.
Okay.
Unemployment. That never existed before. That was the first time we got paid. So then you're hustling and then you have this unemployment and you're like, dude, this is not happening anywhere else. The world's not happening. And I moved to New York. So I moved to New York, I was paying the same price I was for a couple weeks in LA. As I was like, okay, someone else could take my LA apartment and I'll take someone's New York apartment. And then I was like, okay, this can't last forever. And I got, found my lease. I lived here, there, 2 months here, 1 month here, 3 weeks, it was bouncing around the city. And the city was the only place that you could perform music. It was the only place you could. Sorry, what it was the only place you could perform music, and I still had my place in LA. Still paying rent every month, and I got.
While you were living in Israel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just had someone take it over, take over the kind of, and I'm like, okay, this is great. And then that person left, and then I took it back when Corona happened, and then that was it. And then,
tell me about your connection with Israel. We'll go through your story, but your parents were Israeli, right?
They still are Israeli.
They still are Israeli?
They're still with us, yeah.
Speak Hebrew at home?
Yeah, but no, we stopped, or I stopped. And, much credit to my mother now. It's a really cool experience because I speak to my parents every day in Hebrew as much as I can. And when I came to live in Israel, I was extremely ashamed of not being able to speak Hebrew. And for me, a lot of people were like, religion and Shabbat. And I was like, my goal is to go to Ulpan Gordon. And it was like the government. It was like the government Ulpan. It's grimy. Shout out to Shalomit, Amora Sheri. And she,
But in terms of understanding, you understood, right?
No, I think that's also a lie that we need to get over as Jewish people. I understand more than I speak. The only way you could speak Hebrew is with confidence. You're going to get rejected minimum 3 times by an Israeli. No, please don't. You butcher our language. Let me speak English. Really? No. Put your, how do you say? Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. I mean, it's really, I get it. And then you're like, לא, רק עברית. אני אדבר איתך רק עברית. ועכשיו אני אדבר איתך הסיפור שלי. לעצמי זה אחרת, זה,
Oh, you're good.
זה רמי, זה לא רמי.
I said that.
I know. I'm just talking shit now. But it took me a while to build up the confidence. הביטחון. Cool thing about confidence also means security, which is really, to me, language is the most beautiful part of claiming in Israel. What we claim is reclaiming my inner Israel. People say, are you Israeli? I am Israel. To really understand that when we came here, we reintroduced this language and we revived the language, a dead language. Now everyone speaks Hebrew. And now, it's not the other day I was out to eat. And I was like, and it's אפשר לעזור הבול? יש לך בולים? Like a bowl, the bowls.
Okay.
And the guy was like, no, אנחנו לא אומרים בול. It's there is a bowl, it's not like English, but it's just funny when you learn, of course, Israelis would call it bol and bolim. And the other day I was like, so achi loser, very loser. Kol ha-loserim. You're like, what do you mean? Kol ha-loser? But having the confidence to say something so ridiculous that's not even true is sort of like being a rapper and you're inventing words and slang and stuff like that. And to me, that was really what I wanted to claim back, because my brothers were born in Israel. My parents are here. My mother was born here. My father immigrated to Israel when he was 14, leaving communist Romania and Transylvania. Where was he born? Oh, which I thought that was always cool.
Yeah.
I was like, Dracula, yeah. And watching Dracula in my grandparents' house in Tivon, and
your grandparents live in Tivon?
Yeah, we have.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Okay,
very cool place. And Modena a little bit reminds me very hilly and not as green as Tivon, but a little I was going around the little magals, what was it? I guess when you could go and do a circle. And
they call them roundabouts.
Roundabouts, yeah. So just having those experiences of being I always felt I was not Israeli enough, and I always felt I wasn't Jewish enough because we didn't do all these Jewish camps or just Jewish this and
no holidays.
Yeah, we did that stuff, but just in general, there are Jewish American kids, and then there was us. We did sports. So like me and my brothers did sports. And so my whole life I always wanted to be like, just in Israel. Like I loved it so much. And but it was just a different experience for me because I was born here. And it's just a matter of circumstance of like when you see how people grow up, we're like, oh, we're Israeli. We speak only Hebrew in the house. And like we were like a little Americanized people, like assimilated, but also like a Hebrew last name, Even-Esh, and which is Firestone.
That's right.
And so it's like Rami Even-Esh, and you're like, yeah, but we're speaking straight English over here. And I was good with languages, so I spoke Spanish and was speaking Hebrew, and I would realize I would need to get a roll on, but then you're like, enough going to these classes and no one spoke English. So you had to speak Hebrew because this guy only spoke Turkish and this person spoke Russian and this person spoke French. So you're like, and these are like straight off the boat people. And they're like, yeah, we're in Israel, So it was really cool to just be in this school, Pan Gordon.
I promised myself that when you came, I would tell you how happy I am that you're alive, that you made it. Because I listened to your story. I actually watched one of your videos when you talk about your story. And it is a freaking miracle that you're alive. Do you know that?
No.
Do you don't realize that? You take that for granted?
I take it for granted. So
Yeah.
I do. I take it for granted. Well, this is the thing, because I'm so far removed of that life, And this is the thing, too. What's interesting? It exists in every society. And everyone, and this is just, I think it's like a Western society of guilt trips. But here it doesn't really exist, but I'll tell you what it is. It's that like, being sober a long time, you get used to it. And like I'm sober longer than I even was using and got high and everything. So let's say, you're.
Is it okay if we talk about it?
Sure.
Yeah. Are you comfortable talking about it?
I'm comfortable talking about it.
Okay, fine.
I like to talk about it and I feel like I'm opening up on what I truly think. So it's I want to nail this properly.
Okay.
But my big use, like I didn't grow up, like there are places that people grow up and that selling drugs is like their only option, and they come from the ghettos and they're and living in the projects, and they're like, yeah, it's better to sell drugs and be involved with that than to get like regular education and job. I come from sort of this world of like feeling left out, feeling depressed, feeling, not part of the club, not having the confidence. And when you become somebody with a substance that everyone else wants, that sort of gives you this power, right? It gives you this power. So now all of a sudden you're the man and you're selling this and you're selling that. And, along with that comes crime. So, there's this crime. So someone pulls a gun on you and you're like, oh my God, I was in a gun thing. And then sometimes jail, or you're in jail, but then you're with a guy who has a gun and you guys go to somebody to go get their stuff. And now you're like part of like this armed robbery. And then I'm like, did I really steal a car? Or was I like, the keys were there and we just took the car and we don't know what the car was? But like, so like to you, that sounds like a stolen car. But if you say it to people who actually stole cars, like, that's not stealing a car, right? Now, if you go to Holocaust survivors and say like, oh, like you talk to my aunt's a Holocaust survivor, but my aunt's like, she's like, I'm not really a survivor. Like I was a child, like I guess I survived, but I wasn't like a real survivor. And then the other survivors are like, well, you weren't in like a death camp. You were in a war camp. Like, that's not a real camp. And then you're going into war, like you're in Israel, like, oh yeah, they do it today. Oh, like it was a ballistic missile. It was from Yemen. It wasn't a real ballistic missile.
My kid is like, we were in here. This is the sealed room, right?
This is the sealed room.
So we were in here and like, the sirens go off.
And we're potting. We're potting while the sirens go off, which is so crazy to anyone in America that we're in a room where if missiles come, we are blocked from it, right? It's right here, right?
And so, like, after the sirens went off, you're supposed to stay in the room for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
He's like, right away, he's like, nah, Mom, it's from Yemen. Let's just get out of the room.
Yeah. They shot like one missile or two.
But that's fucked up.
It's so insane because
it's still a freaking missile.
It's a missile, and no one knows, and no one, and this is the thing. In Israel, they're like, oh yeah, you're not really in service. Like you're like into the army, you're like a Miluim. And then like I could be like, well, I'm performing for the soldiers, and somebody else could be like, well, he's in the IDF, man. He's like he's like Leonard Cohen. He's like singing for the military, he's riling them up, and they're going out there and they're killing everyone. Or if they hate Israel, and they might say things like that. But ultimately, I think that people feel left out, and we feel like we want to be down, and that was like joining a gang for me or something. It was like, oh, let me do this, and then I remember getting robbed, and then like taking shots after it, and my friend was like, oh, he was pistol whipped, and but other people be like, well, you weren't shot, and so there's always one thing worse. And this story sort of exists in different material, just like, oh, it's just Yemen, and you're like, well, it's you live in Palestine, like you live in Ramallah, it's not like the West Bank, or you're not in like Gaza, there's an Israeli, does that make sense to you? There's this Israeli joke that says, everyone says, you're going to Israel, be safe, oh my God, you're so brave, be safe, and you're like, bro, be safe, what are you talking about? We're in a safe room potty. Oh, and that's not in Modine, that's in Jerusalem. Okay, be safe when you go to Jerusalem. And he goes, well, it's not that part of Jerusalem, it's this part of Jerusalem. I'm like, okay, well, be safe when you go there. And you're like, well, it's not that part of Jerusalem, it's really just, it's Ben Yehuda Street, that's where the attack was. It's not really Ben Yehuda Street, it's over by those two stores. It's not in that store, it's in that store. And it just keeps going where people discredit you for everything, and then you don't realize that I've accomplished so much and I've survived so much. So yes, this, that, but in comparison to some of the people I know, I did time in jail. When you're in jail, people said, that's not a lot of time. Like, I'm really doing a lot of time. And that person goes, oh, I'm like, I could do that time. I'll do that time standing my head. I'm doing 10 years. Everyone's doing one up you by doing more jail time. Yeah, right? So that exists in everything. So people are doing that in the pro-Palestine movement. They're saying, well, I went to a protest. Oh, you went to a protest? Okay. Well, I joined the Democratic okay, like you're working for Zoran. We were like that. And you're like, well, I'm his graphic designer. But okay. Well, I know his cousin's wife's brother. And you're like, oh my God. Yeah. And like I was there on the front lines fighting against when Benjamin Yahoo came. We were egging his car. Like, okay, you're really doing that. And that exists in every community. It exists in every community. So for me, the beauty about being sober is not, having all these stories. Now it's about helping other people, because my story's done. Like, I'm not going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? There's no way they're going back to jail. And mind you, so people say, my father told me this is really funny. After you go to jail, that they get you, there's like a bill. There was like a bill.
Yeah, dude, I just felt so bad for your parents.
So my dad,
to your story, I'm like, your dad kept bailing you out.
And let me tell you this, now that money is like nothing. It was like a couple thousand, like $5,000. And it's something I would think like, oh my God, I would never even have that money.
Dude, what would you do if you had a kid like yourself?
Well, I will have a kid like myself one day. I mean,
God is going to really pay you back. No, that's what happens.
So my father goes, he goes, well, where'd you say? I said, Abba, no one wants to pay. No one pays those bills. He goes, where did you learn that? I said, in jail. He goes, exactly. And mind you, when people are one-upping each other in jail, anyone outside is like, that's insane. You were in jail. Like, there's other people like, I was in jail for a night. So what you're seeing now at the protests is that people are getting arrested, and then they all come, they're like, yeah, they love getting arrested because it builds this credibility.
Yeah.
And it builds like, right. That shows how you were really like, I'll get locked up for the cause. Like, you can't arrest me. And I was in a holding cell for 4 hours. I was in a holding cell for 7 hours. So everyone's one-upping each other, right? And what we fail to realize is that like a one-up society, it's never fulfilling. It's the same thing as Instagram with views. It's the same thing as, oh, now I'm sober 21 years or 22. Really, the only purpose of me sharing that I'm sober 21 years, 20 years, 19 years every year is there are new people that are popping in that don't know my story. and that someone actually needs help. And the only way I could be of service to like the rest of the world is when I could help people. But having notoriety and having experience in life, people really have respect for that.
Yeah.
And you sometimes don't know, just as you said, like, are you proud of yourself? Like, I can't believe it. And a lot of my friends said, bro, you don't know how to take advantage of sharing your story. Like a lot of times, like, hey, you don't know that, that coming to Israel and leaving Israel and being honest of what was really going on with you, of maybe running away from your issues and now being able to come back. And for me, I'm telling you, I was so ashamed of like not knowing Hebrew that I came back and like, how you learn, it's like, how you run a marathon? You run it, what I mean? You have to train for it. It's like just these things. So it's interesting now that I'm in my 40s, I really love there's less fear, of losing, because I've been a loser pretty much successfully losing for many years. And, I've done some really amazing things.
Do you feel like you have a responsibility now that you have like a little bit of fame? Do you feel like you should be a role model for certain things? Especially like now, like with the whole, the war and everything, people look up to you for like pride in Israel and being Jewish and stuff like that. Do you feel a responsibility?
I don't feel like I have the responsibility, but I'm happy to be that.
Because a lot of people here say that what's lacking in the United States
Hmm.
are Jewish leaders. And not necessarily in politics, like in other things too. People like that people can look up to be proud of their religion, of their Judaism.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Um,
Or you don't really think about it too much? I'm just curious.
yeah, I mean, they are right. There's a lack of Jewish leadership, right? But the ego is ultimately, it's everywhere, right? And I think what Jewish people essentially, provided us is, and this is for any community, is that we have a huge amount of ego in thinking that we know what's important. And let me tell you, the galas, the like things that make people feel less than, those will always be, the worst things. And I could tell you
What do
what
you
all
mean?
those are.
What do you mean?
Things that make other people feel less than are, do you have this money to go to this event? And these are like, are you accepted by these in crowds? Because we all naturally drift off into these things. And I know that from being an artist. And like, once we developed an ecosystem for a new war, like the Jewish people will never be the same. One, because we're in the longest war in history. And two, like if you think about it, the 6 Day War, Yom Kippur War, 2021, 24, these things didn't last so long where there were an entire ecosystems created around it. There are new NGOs and nonprofits and grants and contracts and presidents and leaders. And we are the center of attention for everything, and every day it changes. And the only way that you could actually navigate through it is by taking a break. There's not one person in here that's gone for 711 days and said like, oh my, you know, questioned like without making wrong decisions or not. And I guess the point of me sharing it is that we're treading new waters, so we need new things. Like we didn't, and it's a sort of like learning as you go, like a university as you go. We didn't know, but we will be fine. And that's where like the faith part comes in to me. Like that knowing that I've been through a lot already. Many of other people have been through a lot already, and they're going to be okay regardless.
Were you political at all when you were living in the States? Or when you're in the States?
Um,
Do you have like are you like liberal or conservative? What's your thing? Or you don't want to say?
I don't know. I'm saying pretty liberal, but like shout out to black people, shout out to gay people. I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
And
I don't think that has anything to do with, I side with many people that are going through struggle.
No, I'm asking you because
I'm not a big guy. I'm never like one on the internet being like, I like Trump, I like Kamala. Like, it wasn't,
no, so it's not your thing. It's not your
my thing. My thing is finding a connection and, rising up against my own challenges and being, an individual DIY artist, a person, chutz lamagal, like outside the circle, I guess you could say. And being like also like artistic, like I was saying like during the world, like, oh, I'm just creating through the pain. Like today I'm like talking shit, today I'm like making a song called Watermelon, Avatiach. Other day I'm like bring the family home, like, or ceasefire, or with everything that's going on, what's going on. And and then I'm like, okay, now people like these interviews. I was the first one to do those interviews, and those were all a fluke. I did these things by mistake and they got millions of views. Mind you, I was trying to get millions of views for years and I just didn't get them. And these interviews were sort of like a gift that keeps giving. But then I thought these are sort of flawed. And then I realized that I'm going to these things with the intention that are not authentic. So
why do you think they were so popular?
People, listen, I want to say my parents are conservative, but like, I definitely think that, like, let's say like Donald Trump will definitely like speak for a lot of people that want to tell people like, go after yourself. They're like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like they want to get into a fight, but there's no fight. It's just like talking whatever you're gonna say. And my thing's a little bit more interesting because mine more like I say what I say, and then other people talk and they just sound dumb. So instead of speaking up for yourself, I'm just saying like hi, and then other people are like blah 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 blah, and you're like, I don't know, that's crazy, man. Anyways, and it's just funny because you're like, what the heck is going on out there? And you're so brave, and you're surrounded by like thousands of people, like Israeli flags with swastikas and families. And then I'm like, hey guys, like, and people are like, how could you be out there like that? How could you let that guy swing at you? I'm just like, nothing, you can't tell me. Like I've been beaten, like knocked out, teeth knocked out in fights. And
that have to do with this kind of stuff?
No, just from my previous life, in jail, in the streets. And now you're like, dude, this is easy. This is easy thing to do for me, because being hated is just like so ridiculous. Because I come from a place where people were like, I'm going to take your stuff, or I'm going to beat you up, or like, so it's just it was a different experience for me. Was the average person hasn't been into a lot of conflict. A lot of people will message me and say, I don't know how you could do it. I get so angry. I would just punch everyone. And I guess that is the allure, because you're not doing it. And so you're not going to punch somebody. But if you were there, you're going to tell your one friend, oh, I swear to God, if you was the ice, oh my God, I would do it. But you're not. Right. So I'm there, and I'm also not going to do it. Like, and if I do something, like that. And then other people look dumb. And essentially, I talked to somebody that I found really iconic. She's an Israeli soldier, former soldier, president of Columbia University. So don't throw Columbia University completely under the bus. And I said, what do you think it takes to get people to stop doing? And she said, people need consequences. And through consequences, and another consequence is public humiliation, because that's trial by public. That's not just trial by trial. Like if you're going to get arrested, they take away your degree. You won't break windows of the library and take it over and be like, we're taking over free guys. Mind you, cause, no, but like you devalue your own cause by doing that stuff. So it's a great way to do it. So for what happened to me was, people were getting doxxed from these videos with me in the beginning, and they were getting just reposted by like Jew Hate Database or Canary Mission, and they're like, meet John. John thinks Hamas is, I totally get it. And he is 19 and a saxophone player,
Why do you think that is, Rami? Why do you think people there are so like pro pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist organization.
I don't even know.
What happened there?
I don't know. I think people love to feel important. Like, this is where I go back to.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they feel like, why wouldn't it make them feel important to like be on the right side? Why do they have to be on the other side?
Because it like challenges the norm. It's what they think is, and then they realize it's not the norm, but they are part of the mainstream, because that's become mainstream. This fringe has become mainstream. But I guess when they're doing it, like, they're sort of, they've got a voice. Now that you have this mic and you're like, whoa, it sort of fills this void that's inside your heart. And you're like, for content creators, we love to make, we love to create, we love, musicians. So whenever you give me it's like a successful day. Like, you're filming, we're making stuff, so that one day that we're making all these videos, we have so much work out there. And for people that are just going to these things and protests, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get on and say something. And I'm like, everyone's like, bro, don't talk. Like, one guy, I'm telling you, he went to college. I don't know. It was at Columbia University. It was like 80,000. I said, why don't you just do the interview with the kafia? Like, we don't need to show your face. So he's like, yeah. I said, wait, where are you from? India. My family's from India. Prize, yeah. He goes, all universities should be, abolished, all education. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I was like, but aren't you in school? Like, yeah, I know, it doesn't really make sense, but. And so I think to myself, and his buddy he was so stoked that his buddy had led the UPenn encampments. And I went to like about 14 or 15 encampments, and I did a whole film on it, which is called Bring the Family Home, which is the Kickstarter. By the time this comes out, the Kickstarter will be live. We'll link it. I saw like what really empowered these students, and some of the craziest stuff was going down, and you sort of just kind of let it play out. You're like, okay, this guy thinks, people just love to hear themselves talk.
You engaged in the people in the encampments?
Yeah. I made a whole film about it. The reason why I made a film is because I felt as if I was walking around the streets, right, wherever, and people are like, I love the work you do. Like, I love your inner, like, people didn't even know I made music or comedy. Like, they didn't know. And I was like, wait, this is weird. I don't want people to know me for this. And because I was making songs, and the way I got into the interviews was I made a rap song called Bring the Family Home. And then I went to an interview. I went to a interview outside the Israeli consulate with my boy Kevin from Hamza Club. Shout out to him. And he thought it was an Israel rally. He didn't know it was a protest. I was like, yo, come. And we just performed Bring the Family Home. And then I went to all the news cameras that were interviewing people at the pro-Palestine rally. And I went to be like, hey, do you guys want to interview an Israeli guy? And they were like, oh, yeah. What are you doing here? I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then
you weren't afraid?
No, because I was like around a bunch of news camera guys with security. I was like, no one's doing anything here. And we didn't have any cameras. And then someone interviewed me from this show, Channel 5. And he knew me, and he goes, he asked this girl, she's like, well, this woman, she said she had family members that were killed in Gaza, or at the time, I don't know really who she was. She looked white, but people look the way they look, and we're from where from. I'm not here to discredit her. But basically, she said, you're asking all the wrong questions. And I even, this is like right after, and I'm pretty proud of myself for like reliving this moment with you, because I said, like, I said the wonderful people of Gaza, and or like the innocent people in Gaza. And this was like 5 days after, or maybe 6. And it's Hamas, and Hamas has ruined the whole shit. That's what I said. Hamas ruined the whole shit. And she goes, you're asking all the wrong questions, and I'm done with this interview. I'm out of here. And like, she like walked off, and everyone was like, even the guy was like, what? It was so odd. And that video got 1 million views when I posted on my page. And then I realized, wow, people really want to see these things. So everyone's like, someone asked me to go to Colombia. Then I asked a woman what she would do if she had a grandkid and like one of her kids. I was like, are you a mother, grandmother? So I was like, what would you do? And she goes, I would do anything possible to get all of them back. I'm like, well, okay. And then we put the song in, and then we're like, oh, now we have like a series. And this just became a thing that people dedicated. They would go about their day in New York or wherever you guys are in the world. And you would spend an hour, 2 hours watching these videos, and it just became a thing at the time.
Have you gotten any pushback from other artists in the industry? Anti-Semitic
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things?
Yes. I've definitely got pushback. Yeah. I mean, just people, not even pushback, but like silent protest, I would say. People like some people aren't like man enough to be like, yo, man, I got to tell you something, man. Like, it's pretty hot around you right now. The discussion around you is very intense. You're doing things such as performing at encampments, in encampments. I was like walking with my speaker into encampments and being like, free the hostages, like doing crazy, like provocative stuff to obviously get that. And when you do something that's like, and I'm saying this for anybody.
But you're allowed to.
Yes, I am allowed to, just like they are allowed to.
Yeah.
But when you do things like that, you are going to get people to respond. And not everyone's trying to sign up to be like, a lot of people are like, dude, I don't want to lose my work. I have brand deals. I had this. And I'm just like, I got no bark in this fight. And I'm like, I get it. I wanted in my dream, I would have conversations with all my friends, but most people are like, I'll see you when I see you and it's all good,
Really?
But there are a lot of other artists that are like, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. And the people that didn't like me already didn't like me over Israel because I've been doing Israel Jewish rap.
Yeah, and you walk around sometimes with a yarmulke, like people
Yeah.
know you.
Yeah, and I do it stylistically too.
Yeah.
That's so the people that didn't work with me already didn't work with me because of Israel. It's just now that Israel is the hottest topic in the world because of the war. And you're like, oh, is it genocide? It is that, and it's your guys are not like, I've heard it all. So that to me is just like, it just kind of comes with the territory. And I'm saying that to remind myself is that I do get emotional sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe that it is. But it's like, you just got to stick to your script, man, make your songs. And I'm allowed to make songs that have nothing to do with Israel because I've always have done stuff that has nothing to do with Israel. From street performing to having Billboard charting. But there's always been a Jewish, like just as there's always been a Jewish presence in the land of Israel, there's always been a Jewish presence in the land of Kosha Dillz music. There's like, that's why the name Kosha Dillz, Rami is an Arabic name. It's a Palestinian name. People ask me, Rami, where are you from? And I'm like, I already know where you're from if you're asking me where I'm from. So I already know what this is. And I say, I'm from Israel. Have you ever heard there's a country in the Middle East that's about democratic nation? You're like, shut. They like lose it, So I love being the awkward one. Even though my best friend told me, Rami, don't be the weird one. That's usually in relationships with women, but but when it comes to Israel, I'm like, it's really fun to be like, how can I explain it? Like, let me see your hand real quick. And you'll be like, hold this, Israel. Hey, and you're like, what? I don't want to, you're like, I'm from Israel. And for me, I don't know, I always really enjoyed just exploring ways to express myself. And in doing that, it's definitely helped a lot of people get inspired. And
do you ever get support from someone unexpected?
Yeah.
Who?
I mean, I've gotten support from everyone just really cool to connect with people like, Michael Rappaport. When I first linked up with him, it was really like, it was just dope. Like he's just a dope, like I've known him.
What's he like in person?
Not as loud as you would think.
Oh, really?
He's more chill. He's very chill. He's not unhinged.
Mm-hmm.
Although that could be the character that he might see. I'm sure, everyone has a thing, but just getting support from people. I'd say it was really nice to, I once got a message from like Michael Dell from like the computer guy. Like, I don't know. That was like wild. And then just people that I know, met Scooter Braun, which was a really cool thing, and I think he's done amazing things, with Nova and just really being a catalyst for that. But just in general, like there are musicians that are like, hey man, I don't really know much about what's going on, but like I do.
This is for like the rap community?
Rap, reggae. They're like, I respect you for doing it, and it would be weird if you switch teams because you've been doing this since the beginning. And it's like, that's the thing that the world has somehow minimized us into like a sports game. Just to speak about like Hannah Einbinder's thing, she like kind of did this thing like go Birds, and it's like this isn't like the Birds versus the Patriots, like, and you pick a team, but that's what people have done because honestly, if I was not who I am, I would be like, yes, say something. You're bound to go viral if you do whatever this is, and you really have no attachment to it. So it's an amazing opportunity for someone, an artist. Like if I respond. And I, being sober, if someone has an overdose and to drug addiction, like I'm a voice and a pundit on recovery and sobriety in the music industry. I am 100% because you could put me next to a person that has 500 gazillion record sales. If you have 2 days sober, like I'm like, they're going to look at me like, I'm like, oh my God, dude, like, how did you do it? How did you, if someone with 15 years would be like, how did you do it? Just because it's a different level of respect. And I think
that's why I told you, Rami, that it's a miracle that you're alive.
Yeah.
Because beating those habits.
It is a miracle. You better like it.
Yeah. No, because beating those odds, it's like there's almost no chance.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, addiction thing is really hard to get out of. I think some people get.
Sorry, interrupted you.
Nah. And if I can't get back on subject, it's because I'm,
You're what?
ADHD. No, I think it's such an excuse. I'm not ADHD. Although I do scroll. No, I do scroll so long that I do get the ads for ADHD, which I don't believe exists. But whatever.
You're something.
Pay attention, Ronnie. Pay attention.
You have some kind of attention thing.
Yeah, I love to pay attention. I love it. No. And
I love to pay attention.
And if I'm not paying attention, it's because I can't stand you, and I'm just zoning out because it's painful to deal with you. No, to be honest, when I don't pay attention and I'm on my phone, which is before I got sober, like these apps didn't exist. Like I came from an era where nothing was on the phone. Like no pictures. Now everything is documented. People are selling the world on the black market, and I come from the world of. I feel like I'm old enough to say I come from the world of cash, and it's I know people, they're like tap card, no cash. I'm like, that's weird to me, But in the thing of surviving the odds, I think it's extremely important. What I truly believe is that as a Jewish people, a nation, or whatever you want to call it, you need to be successful outside the Jewish community. And when Israelis think about the leaders in America, if you're a Jewish leader in the Jewish world, it doesn't matter because it's just a Jewish world. And we are in the world. We're not in the Jewish world. The Jewish world is like meant for our business and our community building and like things at a personal level. But if we're talking about changing minds of people to be in solidarity with us and say, hey, have you ever got support from someone you unexpected? You know why they're going to respect me? Because I work hard, because I show up on time, because I help other people, because I've helped other people elevate their lives with wanting nothing in return, or becoming extremely successful at my craft, which could be making videos, it could be going viral, it could be being an obsessive basketball fan in the front row. It could be, being in movies like Michael, or being a great manager like Scooter. Scooter's a great businessman. Like take Israel, like all that stuff. Those are like his personal endeavors. But, this dude, they came from throwing parties. Dude came from throwing parties. And anyone who ever throws parties will look at that and be like, wow. Anyone who throws parties from anything, and we could all use the same thing. Gary Vaynerchuk, prime example.
Oh yeah, he's on fire, huh?
He's on fire. My brother Zach, and listen, my brother. It's really important to know that I have two brothers. One Mr. Israel, as a bodybuilder. Both were born in Israel. The other was like captain of Marines, I did special forces, and now does, one's Orthodox, one's not. One is, my brother is like one of the most successful original strength training people. And my other,
Younger than you or older than you?
older Rose.
Okay.
And that is extremely important. And one could be less Jewish, even though no one's less Jewish, but one could be less Jewish and one could be more Jewish. But if one is really successful in the outside world and even shows a little bit of support for Israel, Jewish, pride, that could change the world more than another person who knows more than this, but he's just only in that community. And that's okay. Not everyone has to do it. Like, everyone needs to play their position in the army of life, right? So for myself,
Did you ever try to be religious?
no.
You never wanted to be? What about like tefillin? Did you ever wear tefillin?
Yep.
You do that?
To fill in, yeah.
Do you do it every morning?
Nope.
Only when you feel like it?
Yeah, if I feel like it, I'll do it. If I don't have my own. Someone sent me a bag, actually. It's like made out of like cowhide. People send me all kind of cool Jewish stuff. I tell them, I say, if you send it to me, I'm most likely going to try to sell it in a garage sale, which is my true joy. I have a song called The Garage Sale. I made an album called Gene and Garage Sale. Garage sale is like the inner cleansing of the house. I mean, do Canadians have garage sales?
Yes, they do.
Do they call them garage sales?
Yes, they do.
So a lot of things in Brooklyn, there's like a stoop sale, sidewalk sale, but the garage sale, we're having a garage sale. I love garage sales, and I had one the other day in New York, and I loved it. And I sold.
Israel doesn't have them.
Israel does not have. They have sales though. I know, but they don't.
They don't have garages because it's for security reasons. Everything's a security reason. They don't want people start coming up to your doorstep and just start walking around. Sometimes the door is open. They don't want people
Sell it out, say whatever. And they have like little flea markets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some great places. And I want to go to one today. But I'm telling you, if you send me, and I want you to send me stuff, I'll try to. The other day I found a hat. It was like a hotel hat with a Jewish star on it. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm keeping this. And I'm gonna.
So you said if someone gives you something weird, you're going to try to sell it at a garage sale.
Yeah, but like I love Jewish tchotchkes and trinkets and like obscure little things. I see it and I'm like, people that say, when you get to a certain age, you're like really happy. Today I went surfing for the first time. One time I showed up to a Modest Yahweh show in Waikiki and I think I rented a board out there for like $100, and I was like out there, and I didn't know, like I didn't even have enough money to pay for a lesson. And I remember it was like the North Shore. I mean, it's not some place you just pop up and go surfing at. You need to surf
30 feet.
I mean, it's called Pipeline Cafe because of the pipeline of waves. Like, I mean, this is where you go surfing. So I've always been dreaming of going surfing in Jaffa, and I love it. And one of the guys on Instagram who follows me, who loves my work, this is the coolest thing. Now, and was
it free? Was the lesson free?
Yeah, he like got us
dude.
just a cool thing, and he's like a real estate guy. And I'm like, he was like, yo, we're gonna try, and he's like, trust me, he's like, we're gonna do like 30-40 minutes and you're gonna be wiped. And I'm like, dude, let's do more. And I was getting knocked on my ass, and I was like, oh my God. And then then you could barely get back out there. It's knocking you over and this. And
how are the waves today?
So yeah, perfect. And I'm like, oh my God, like, it only gets worse than that. I'm like, these were the smallest. And I can't stand up yet, but it's such a exciting thing to do the things that you said you wanted to do, So I got to go there, and I love garage sailing. Like, I love to make $10, like $10,000, whatever. But there's nothing like being like, okay, these, you go to a thing and you're like, how much? And they're like, they're like 40 shekel. And you're like, I'll give you 30. And he's like, I'll give you 35. I'm at 25. All right. And then you like walk away, and then he says, fine. And you're like, it was like a huge victory. It felt like you slayed a dragon. because you went to the shook and you saved 15 shekels. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a national pastime.
I hate to say this, but you're Jewish. It's a Jewish thing.
It's a Jewish, like, I don't know, because, I don't know if it's a Jewish thing, but
my grandfather used to say, save a penny, make a penny.
Hun,
That was his line.
you gotta save a penny, make a penny. No, but it's that's a remix of take a penny, leave a penny. Like, take a penny, leave a penny.
I got it from there. But
Save a penny, make a penny. Make a penny. You gotta save a penny.
Can you write a song about it? Save a penny, make a penny.
Yeah, no, but in America they have the take a penny, leave a penny now, and some people leave quarters in there. Crazy.
Wow. If you weren't rapping, what would you do?
Film is what I always wanted to do. Film and write a book. The book is coming, but I feel like, the stories I have are just so when I was in jail, I wrote every single day, and I saved every single letter.
You have?
Father, I have everyone.
Wow.
And this is,
how long were you incarcerated for?
Just a couple months. And so, but like, the amount of like writing back and forth. When was it? 2001. Wait. Okay. Oh yeah, 2002. So it was like 23 years ago. Like, this was, the longest period, and another time it was just like a week. So I was there at the correctional facility, and I would get letters, and then I would write every single day. And then I was telling other people in there, I was like, I'm going to write a book. They're like, stop talking. But going back to what I said before, not to jump around from about this book, the reason why I did Jewish things in jail was because of a 5%er Muslim and a Christian guy that I wanted to impress. And the Christian guy goes, Rami, you better do you better fast for Yom Kippur. He said that to me. I was like, I'll do it, And I used to read in jail, they give something called the Daily Bread, which I think is like a mix of New Testament and Old Testament, like passages and stuff that are like inspirational and things like that. And the other guy that was a 5%er Muslim, they have like all different Rasan. I think his name was like Rasan. And he was like, this place ain't for you. You don't belong here. He was like trying to, that was like another thing. You'd be like, I pushed a new guy away. He's like, feel a little bit righteousness, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever, And,
did you get along with people there from jail?
Well, I got into a bunch of fights, and people, because I didn't have any boundaries, etc.
What, you would say like rude things to people? You just start fights with people?
No, it's just not, you don't start fights, but like people just test you, and they're like, gonna take advantage of you. And, it's very much lessons in life. But it's just very, instantly.
What's it like waking up in the morning in jail? Like, before you get out of bed, like I used to say like prayers, whatever, but like when you wake up,
no one's like,
remember when you wake up, when you wake up in jail and you realize, you open your eye and you're like, fuck, I'm in jail. Like, what is it? What does that feel like?
I think once you're kind of like there, then you're there. Does that make sense? I think that's like, everyone's like, I'm afraid to go to the military. And then people are probably like, they're in like 200 days of Military, and they're like, I guess is what I do now.
But you're not like, every day this sucks, I want to get out of here. You're like, you're just complacent. You're like, just accept it. Like
I said, back then, once you're there, you want to stay sometimes even longer.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's called like I said, people were like 5 months,
right.
Whatever, people are like, it becomes like a rite of passage. And then when you're out, and everyone be like, oh, thank God I'm out. But saying that because like I know like people go to correctional facilities and not be like, I'm gonna get better. It's usually like, I'm gonna get worse, and how am I gonna do it better? Only like when you're really ready to change it. I didn't have that experience there, because 4 days when I was out in jail, I was already selling drugs again.
In jail?
No, out.
Oh, out.
4 days. Yeah. It wasn't like the correctional facility correction. Like I've been arrested multiple, like 4 times. So, those are just the things, like most people don't get corrected in there. So if the people are, it's usually during like long periods of time.
Is it hard for you to be around people who take drugs now?
Yeah, I mean, I choose not to be around certain people. It's just kind of,
even weed.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, find it kind of lame in general. It's just like annoying. It's like annoying. It's like
annoying that you.
It just, annoying, the smell, this like sort of like, certain things that people love. Like I like the smell of baked cookies. You can put me around those all day.
I do. I have.
Oh yeah.
I did think about you.
But like I remember like when I think I was like sober like 3 years and stuff, and I would start like going to Chabads and like start doing these things. And the Chabad rabbis see they don't know any better, so they're gonna be like, oh, let's just get all the kids drunk, and this is what they love. And then they'll be like, Jewish life is awesome. And I'm like, I was sort of like, oh, this is kind of lame. And then I would, my communication skills would be like, um not but like the problems that I have, I realize, are for me and not for thee. And most college kids did not have the experience. Like I went to college with an NCAA wrestling scholarship, to be on a team, and then I left with like multiple felonies. So it's like I was here and then, you know, but that's the thing with addiction. It's like you don't know when it's going to hit. Some people it hits them later in life. Some people get caught early. The only reason why I stopped at such a young age is because I got arrested. But for anyone that's like going through something, I find it extremely difficult and nearly impossible to voluntarily, if everything in your life is going well, let's say you make money and you have an issue with drugs and this and that, you're like, oh man, whatever, it's just that. But you still have a job. I mean, it's really hard to be like, you know what, I think I got to take 3 months off and go to an inpatient rehab and totally change my life. Only until you are completely destroyed and you've ruined everything around yourself. You lost your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, you're divorced, this, that, kids.
It's an escape.
Only when everything's hit the fan that you decide to change.
Okay.
And that's sort of just relaying everything back to the Jewish question of like what with Israel advocacy, it's sort of like only to the point, like the other day I was extremely mad, just extremely mad. But I'm past a point of like the short form world content, and I realized it was so overflooded, and these other people they became more popular, and they're saying, and it's all sort of like recycled statements from other people. Nothing is that profound, right? What I know is the psychology of someone who doesn't fit in, because I was that person. So I understand what it's like to be a college student that loves Palestine because I didn't fit in. At that point in college, I was like, I know what to do to fit in. We're going to sell drugs and we're going to go to those parties, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to be the man on campus. And now you could be the man on campus by being like the protest king, and it's a thing. And you're like, and we're going to go viral. See, when I was in college, like these things didn't exist, but it going viral in a different way of like being the guy at the party and everyone knows and he's here. He just got out of jail. Like, so now kids feeling lonely and not part of a place, and there's a place for people like you. And we have that perfect place for you. And just like in recovery, if you're not allowed anywhere, if you're kicked out of all your homes, if you're weird and your parents don't approve of you, we have a place for you here, because this is a place where people get better. So you're sold on it, but that actually works. It's like something that's been around for, since Dr. Bill and Dr. Bob created like 12 steps, for AA and things like that. And it's developed, the 12-step fellowships have developed all over. And someone that I, was also sober in my life, and he was like, do you stink? Are you homeless? Are you totally worthless? Like, we have a place for you here where we could get better. And I'm not comparing that completely to, these fringe movements of like ultra conservative or this. And it's like, do you feel isolated from people? But drugs isn't your thing, so you dive into these politics or whatever like that.
Yeah.
And people are like, first off, we're gonna give you all the things to say. All right, I need to feel something. First off, Israel, da 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 da. Okay, and da 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 da, and that to the idea. You're like, yes, like gives you that thing, right? So I understand that. So I could sit with somebody and be like, oh, where are you from? Where are you this? I get it. I've been to every state in America, been to multiple countries, and the lack of education of people do on Jewish people is insane. But the one thing that everyone in the world has in common everywhere I go is that people feel lonely and left out, or people feel part of, and they have healthy lives. You know what I mean? And as long as people feel a little bit left out, these fringe things were always going to exist.
Yeah.
Where like it's a thrill. Like, I mean, are you following the Emmys situation?
Yes, unfortunately.
So I could give you Hannah Einbinder. I could give you Bob Villain, who ironically stole the name from Bob Dylan, who's a Jewish, Israel lover.
It's true.
And Hannah, who's, done stuff with, been, very talented, extremely pretty, checks off all the boxes, has her Jewish, upbringing. And then it's like, yeah, go Birds. Fuck Israel, free Palestine. Like, bam, knockout punch, boom, 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 like a UFC video where you go boom, boom, boom. Oh my God, oh. And there's a high in that's irreplaceable. I can't tell you. She and you sort of like when you get these hate comments.
Well, she's doing it on purpose, right?
Yes. And so when I go back to the videos that I did, right? And it's like I was making videos, and then for 1 second I thought like, do I like this like a little bit too much? And that's why I wanted to make a long form film, because I'm like, this guy's like, yo, fuck you, Kosha, fuck you. I'm like, yeah, I love this shit. And then like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, you have to do that as sort of like a defense mechanism for the things you're really embracing on. And then you like slow it down and go back up. And you're like, how can I do this differently? Some people are like, everyone says, go to Gaza. Hell, I know a guy that like went. I know a guy that's on the flotilla right now. And they're like, go to Gaza. He's like, okay. And they go. Like some people will live it through. But for myself, I knew why the Israel advocacy kind of like filled up. If all these high-end advocacy, like online, not to say it's unhealthy or things like that. That's why I really believe in long form. Like I'd rather get 1,000 views of long form and people get to know who I am versus 2 million views on a short clip. But let me tell you, it's just a different feeling.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's like smoking something or someone that would like shoot a drug. It's an addiction in its own self.
It totally is.
And a lot of people that I meet that are really, good with social media and that were also
Your mic closer.
They also...
You could bring it to you. You don't have to bring your head to it.
When I dropped a Kanye West diss song, I dropped a Hamas diss song. I just did a song called Al Jazeera, and it's like I shot it outside the Iran bombings of the buildings, and there's Hamas, and it's like real Hamas stuff from real soldiers, and I got Egyptian Jews and Ethiopian Jews. I'm like, I'm covering every different aspect of it, and to me, it's dope. And then it's like, okay, the only thing it's missing is going so viral, and the only way these things go viral is through hate, right? So it's a cycle.
Yeah, but what about your real life, Rami? What about your real life when you put the phone away? What about your real life?
I don't know if I want to talk about my real life, because this is my real life. I'm just kidding. You want me to talk about real life?
No, but I'm just saying, like I can relate to you. Fine.
I wanted to finish the thought.
Fine.
I want to finish the thought.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No. We'll get to my real life, because if you watch this far, you probably care. So listen, when someone releases a song or a film, right? So I have a film, and this is my real life. I've always wanted to tell my story, and I've always told it improperly. And my film, Bring the Family Home, tells my story, my Israel story, and my like trying to make peace with myself and peace with other people's story, and the Israel advocacy moment of post October 7th fame, that sort of compensates for 20 years of me trying to become famous and then having this happen and being like, I didn't ask for it this way, so it's like you pray to have the relationship. Oh, I don't want to be single. And then you're like, get into one. You're like, well, I didn't ask for all these problems. You're like, hey, you can't have it both ways. So my film got canceled, right? And this is in relation to Hannah Einbinder. And this is in relation to the entire discussion we're having about the thirst and addictive uptick in numbers, which is not self-fulfilling process, the new ecosystem that we live in, which is the Israel Palestine ecosystem of nonprofits and businesses, and from selling keffiyehs and car washes for Palestine to Am Yisrael Chai necklaces and clothing lines, the ones that I sell at the garage sale.
All the merch.
Yes. Is that The Road Between Us just won Toronto International Film Festival People's Choice Award. Now, mind you, they got so many votes, they won this award. And first they tried to protest them.
I know.
Because people did it, right? Now, months before, 3 months earlier, my film, it's a film within a film. First time I ever showed a film. And we sold all the tickets, or almost all the tickets. It was a big packed house. Fastest Theater, Chicago. And they canceled the film. They cancel it. So I go outside and I say, hey, let's make a video. You can't cancel me. People that never supported me before, now they support me, right? Right. So this is to bring the family on film. So then we get another theater, and then we get a happy ending. And then we get pressure, and here comes End Jew Hatred and the Revenge of the Jewish Motherhood, as I call them. And they're like, you can't cancel, you anti-Semitic pieces of trash, And of course, the woman who canceled me was Karen. Her name was Karen. And she, I don't know, they weren't, not to say that they're even bad people inherently. I'm sure like people love them in their lives and they're, but they never had this. So someone's calling up them, trying to protest me from coming. And the day before that, I get kicked out of a Hans Piker thing. And he's huge anti-Semite. And he make a video about me. And then the pressure comes on Fastest Theater. And they said, okay, we're going to show the movie now. Just like Toronto International Film Fest. And what happens? NPR and Hollywood Reporter have now written about my movie. Mind you, I've never made a movie. The movie could be horrible. You don't even know. No one's seen it. How could you cancel a movie twice? Oh, no. This is the best part. They canceled it again and said we were going to blow up the building. So,
oh my God.
Point being is, you've never seen the movie. You've made me popular. Hannah Einbinder, no one's seen Hacks. And if you have seen Hacks like I have, it's amazing. But if you haven't seen Hacks, now you're going to want to watch Hacks. If you haven't seen Hacks, you're not going to watch Hacks because you hate her because of her views. And it's a cycle that keeps posting itself. So they won the People's Choice Award for The Road Between Us, or The Road in Between Us. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong.
I think it's The Road Between Us.
It is Road Between Us?
I think so.
And now it's a famous movie, and you haven't even watched the movie. So people are saying it's the best movie, and they haven't even watched it. So people are saying mine is the worst movie, they haven't watched it. And people are saying Hacks is the worst thing. So I just been in things when people are like, who's this person? No one even knows who you are. And like, they're at the Emmys. I mean, people know who they are. And this is a cycle, and it's a new ecosystem that keeps feeding itself, right? And that's the whole point. So it's like anything, you see why people go there on campus, because you could go from 200 Instagram followers to 2,500 if you start posting about. And that for social.
So you don't think any of those people really, or not any, but majority of the people there don't believe in what they're protesting?
Not that they don't, but they do believe in feeling better on the inside. And a quick way to hack that is through this cancel, uncancel culture and the excitement of it. And it's like a
quick fix.
It's a quick fix. It's a hypothetical shot of Oxycontin or heroin that kills some like pain in between us, And mind you, I'm like making these videos, and I'm like, at a certain point, they cancel us, they uncancel us, then they redo it. Oh, we have a Zoom. I'm like emotional, crying. And it's all I wanted to do is like make a movie my entire life. That's why you asked me. Like, all I just want to do is like make a film. And this is like the perfect film to do it because it just encompasses everything. It's about me going to free the hostages and then realizing like I'm a hostage to something entirely different. Like I'm to this entire thing as Kosha Dillz. I just want to be Rami and rap about love. And I made a song called Marathons in the Rain. I ran the marathon, shot a music video on the marathon, like really cool, eclectic, artistic stuff, and be Israeli like in the background, and no one even really know, because Rami is ambiguous, like no one knows, And when we're part of this Israel-Palestine zeitgeist, it's an ecosystem, meaning that, if Greta Thunberg doesn't go on that boat, like no one cares about recycling anymore, Greta, but now like everyone could be victim to it, just like anyone could be victim to a car accident, or anyone could be victim to addiction. Everyone has it in their own family. And I hope that just makes sense to the viewer, because it feeds itself, and we can't help but be part of it once we start on it. And the only way to not be part of it is to really, it's why I respect a lot of people that refuse to take a stance. There's a guy named Big J Okerson.
Yeah, I know Big J.
I love Big J. And
Oh my God, he's so
it's so funny. And he goes, this one girl's like, I'm free Palestine, everything. And he goes, well, what are you gonna do? And he goes, I don't know. She's like, well, what about you? And he goes, I've been aggressively silent on both sides. And I thought it was just so funny, because it's true. The only way you could you'll have a victory is if no one knows about it. And the media loves it because that's the way they're making money too.
That's right.
So if they keep on, they're there. And I learned this by being at a terror attack in Har Nof, and there were 6. In 2014, they killed 4 rabbis.
I remember that in the Beit Knesset, right?
Yeah. And I was there, and I talked to someone, and I spoke with this rabbi.
What were you doing in Har Nof?
I just went to the attack. I heard about it. I just wanted to be there. Okay. I went there within the 24 hours. There were people praying.
Super religious community.
Mm-hmm. And I went to go pray at the synagogue. Yep. Oh. And I even did some interviews with their first responders. And what I learned was there were 6 different cameras there from 6 different news stations reporting on one story, and they were all being reported differently. And there you have it. If you don't think it's a business, it's a business. Like, I don't know if people are talking about the Emmys or what, but I know in my little world, people are talking about that. And, and people are talking about Toronto International Film Festival because that one film was canceled. And my film, a big part of me was that I paid for it all by myself, because I didn't want anyone. I wanted to cleanse myself of any other thought, of any other judgment, and raise it all, because I'm super proud that I created life for myself, that I could fund. I came from where I came from to make it happen, and then ideally, I'll be able to tell the stories I want to tell in the future based on the success of this.
Can we have to finish up soon, but
let's do it.
I have one more question for you.
Yes. What do I do in spare time?
What are you doing later? What kind of music? What is your favorite kind of music besides rap? If it wasn't rap,
jazz.
Yeah,
jazz, 100%. And I love me some obscure indie music. It's like coffee shop indie stuff. Where it's like, I love this band Tennis.
Tennis?
Yeah, it's a group. They're like husband and wife. They sail on boat. Like, they met on a sailboat. Super love story. And I got to play a show with them in Omaha, Nebraska once.
Really?
Favorite song, Runner. Probably one of my favorites.
Oh, you reached out to them?
I just played a show with them, like opened up for them, maybe like 2011. I listen to hip hop music. I love jazz music. Anything at the Blue Note live.
Any Israeli singers that you like?
You don't
have. You could say no.
I want to give a shout out to. I went to an Ishai Rebo concert, which I really thought, like, man, I could like really crush like a rap with him or a remix. And obviously it's really great because it's like pop music under the guise of like religion, and it's very spiritual, and just, I don't know, it was really cool to see, at Madison Square Garden, in 1920, they had, Nazi rallies there, and then to see all the Jews there, it was great. And, but I love me some gangster rap, like really like real Southern trap rap from like Atlanta or Houston, and like Bun B and UGK, and I love me some Jay-Z and Nas and Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang Clan, and I like also listening to, I don't know, I'm getting newer into some Jewish artists that I like. This guy Jericho is really good. I listen to.
Yeah, I know him. Is he a New Yorker, right?
Yeah,
he's good. He's good.
There's, man,
dude, I think I asked him to be on the show.
I just saw this band, Garden City Movement, and I saw them at the Barbie, and it was so good, and it was like a blend of electric and indie, and I'm telling you, man, Israel has some of the best musicians and bands.
And you're lucky in Tel Aviv. There's so much live music. right? You can go to live music all the time.
There's a venue in Tivon, and I'm like the number one commenter on Facebook, and it's like a Tachana Ruach. It's like the wind station, and I'm like, that's like my dream venue that I want to show my film there and stuff like that. And this year I'm just gonna be, I'm trying to dive into this new world of film because I have a film. I have a full.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it's gonna be lovely,
dude. You're a really incredible guy.
I know.
And I know I sound condescending or whatever, but I'm real proud of you, the person that you become. And I wish you lost so much success in the future.
I need it for everyone. You guys need me to get it, and I need it for me to help other people. And it's like, it's a thing, and I'm telling you, man, the Charlie Kirk thing made me want to go back to I stopped doing the interviews, really. I stopped posting those short form things because I was like, he's just getting so old. It's like it's the same people at the protests.
Yeah,
there is some protest people I really like. This dude Nate Friedman, who like exposes the people that are paid, and I was like, oh, how can I do it?
Yes.
But for me, it's like my personal journey, and making friends that are Palestinian because I do.
Oh, you know that dude Zach? What's his face?
Zach Sage.
Yes.
Yeah, he does it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Zach.
I love Zach, but I just feel like those short form videos. And that's the thing. You gotta sometimes, it's like if you really love doing it, it takes a lot out of my soul to do them.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's like it's like a lot of effort too and finance. So I'm like shooting for my film, and now with the film, I have all the things I did in the film that I get to show people. So I guess I just been stockpiling it for like 14, 15 months. So I do have a lot of things that are coming out. All these interviews I did. What I am hoping for is that if realizing that I have the power to tell my own story, and that everyone does, not just me, every kid out of those protests that feels like they got to go to do this, and it's all part of people's journey. You know what I mean? So I don't even get mad or resent people. Like I don't resent that girl Hannah for doing what she is. She's like on her journey, like some way she's going to feel that. And I don't think also belittling someone or like saying, trying to dox them and things like that work, because I just go back to what 12 step is. Like I'm telling you, I'm like, I am needing to get better mentally and spiritually, but only after you arrested me like 3 or 4 times was I ready to like totally change my life. Now I have a better read on things, like how I become a better person. And they say respect your enemy, keep your enemies close, your friends close, your enemies even closer. Like I learned, a lot of people send me, why you follow this person? Why you follow this person? And I'm like, because I'm in touch with them. And like, I have the ability to be in touch with people that I vehemently disagree with and still and that's like an art in itself.
It totally is. It's a real madriga. It's like you're really a higher.
And I don't believe it all the time myself, but like, if I sometimes dream, it's like, what would be, I get really thrilled when I meet people that really don't agree with me, and really like say horrible things about Israel, but they still follow me and they still like show a little bit of respect. And it's,
dude, at the end of the day, we're all sharing this planet together.
And everyone just thinks that the path to righteousness and being correct is different than we do, right? Because based on their experience, right? Like,
right.
If this guy's a father and he lives in Canada and he's like, no, this is what you guys got to stop doing. Like, who am I to, like, that's what it is. But my thing is like, if you see that I'm a human and that I have friends here and they slowly but surely I see where you're coming from. That could actually help a lot more people than being the guy who gets all the likes from everyone who already loves Israel or loves, everything.
Yes.
That's all I got for you.
Dude, you're super cool.
Oh, should I tell them where they can find it?
Go for it, dude. Go.
KoshaDillzWorld.com. I got the Kickstarter out for Bring the Family Home Film. Bring the Family Home Film on Instagram. You can follow it. I'll be posting clips and pictures and telling you guys about film festivals that I'll be appearing at. And if you ever want to book me for anything, KoshaDillzWorld.com. You could stream my music on Spotify, Bandcamp, Twitter, YouTube, do all the things.
Everything. Thank you so much for coming, sweetie.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Thanks for having me in your bomb shelter.
And you're always welcome. Bye, everyone. I'm Yisrael Chai.
I'm Yisrael Chai.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Dayna Show. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to the podcast, like and share with your friends on social media, and rate us 5 stars. Don't forget to tune in next week, and we'll see you then.